But that's another story. So whatever. We still have this mindset 2 years later from that starting stage, 2 years from when Shiba Inu really started to reach its highs and lows and get a lot of interest from people. You can still see support for burning, but we haven't burned even 1% of the supply, which is not good when looking 2 years ahead and expecting to make an impact. As a result, we must have a big impact. And the only way we can think of doing that is if Shabrium has a big impact, as many people believe it will. I just don't believe it will have much of an impact. I hope it does, but I'm very sure it won't have as much of an impact as many believe. They're using Shiba Inu as a pawn to push whatever they want, which is more support for Bone and their projects as well as investment for their platform. So how do we go about depleting this supply? How do we go about burning down the supply 4 minutes into this video, 5 minutes into this video? If we look at the Shiba Inu again, it has a total supply of 589 trillion coins, thus getting to a $1 price would be $589 trillion. So once again, we must deplete that supply. Now, the only strategy that I believe would genuinely work and that I've stated would work for many other positions is to take all of these markets that it's on and find methods to have all of those pairs have some sort of Shiba Inu burn tax that we're willing to go with it. Right. If we are willing to pay for each item that we invest in. And I assured Lunic that it would work. However, someone in the live stream said, hey, why don't you push for a burn tax on exchanges for the community to come together to push for a burn tax on exchanges? And I responded, I'm not sure. I don't believe that would work because I don't think many people support burns in general. And then even if there aren't a lot of people pushing for it, or if they are, you won't have those people battling for it behind the scenes. They may be battling for it under the covers, but they are not fighting for it aloud. They're not doing it to the next person or trying to make relationships or just having that conversation with Finance or Coinbase or Kraken or KuCoin or anything to introduce some sort of 1%, 2% tax or something. You can see hundreds of millions of dollars moving through Shiba Inu coin. And all we truly want is for that supply to be depleted. So we should be talking about a lot of these exchanges and making connections in order to accomplish that. Now, I know it won't work on just one exchange. As CZ stated, Terra Luna Classic must be available on all exchanges in it to function. And I'm sure they're all in favor of a general burn tax. We simply need to fight for it, which we are not doing. So here's my request to you. Please let me know if you're interested in doing something like that, since I believe this is a last-ditch effort to get this done, to burn down the supply and bring us to a point where the supply may be much lower. We can acquire a lot of value, put a lot of money back into Shiba Inu, and build some sort of use case within it instead of what the ecosystem developers are developing and all the money that is flowing around it. So is it a good idea to tax Shiba Inu at 1% or 2%? Let me tell you something. It will undoubtedly deplete the entire supply. It is almost certain that the entire supply will be used if we see a platform-wide burn tax. Again, it would simply be communication to them. We have to demonstrate them exactly how they gain from it with all of the possible pairings and holdings in so many different ways. By demonstrating how much money they would be able to receive from the growth of Shiba Inu, as well as demonstrating that they would retain the same percentages throughout time because everyone is burning at the same rate. If you get it set up and we just agree to launch it on one date, let me know if that sounds interesting. And then if you think it'll work. And then let me know whether you believe it is possible, since I believe it is the notion that it is possible that will create a strong argument for if we can see the total supply reduce and this burning implemented. So gentlemen, let me know what you think. Press that button. Click the subscribe button. Press the notification button. I understand that more videos like this one may seem far-fetched to some people. I know what you're thinking. I'm not a big fan of burning. I'm not a fan of deflationary positions. Let's just make something useful. I see where people are coming from, but the thinking from the start was that a lot of investors could earn a lot of money by consuming that supply. And the more money we generate, the more money we can put back into the project as a community, right? The community is in charge of this. That's all we've got. We don't have anyone working behind the scenes. We have the neighborhood. What's going on, guys? This is Shiba Inu World. So when you first started investing in Shiba Inu, I'm sure you've had big aspirations that it would reach a penny or these levels. Getting to some of this penny's higher levels. 10 cents or a dollar means we'll need trillions of dollars in market capitalization, right? In particular, we would need around 5.8 trillion to get to a cent. If we're aiming at 58 trillion, we'll need 589 trillion to get to a dollar. So with that thinking, we understood we needed to burn down the supply. That's where we started. We witnessed Vitalik's actions. Vitalik chose to burn a certain quantity of Shiba Inu coin before it became insanely valuable, correct? Then things began to really take off. Things began to rise to billions of dollars in market capitalization. It becomes increasingly tough to burn. Right. Even though we didn't have the capacity to burn in the past when things were bad, the goal was still to deplete the supply. As a result, people were making things left and right. You were making YouTube channels to burn stuff down. You were only throwing fire parties. You had bigger entertainment, SHIB Superstore, the coffee firm, many sorts of games, and all of these powers to deplete the supplies. And the community appeared to be doing well, as if we were going to be able to establish all these businesses while depleting the supply. Then came the actual support for the ecosystem developers, right where their Twitter account expanded to a massive size, where they advertised everything they did, where they were hoping to collaborate with other businesses and organizations to do something for the SHIB community. It wasn't, however, for the SHIB community. Despite the fact that it appeared to be, none of the items they created benefited SHIB in any way. They've constructed bone leashes and Shibashis. They had the metaverse and land sales. They got John Richmond. You got Wellies and the Burn Gateway, which is what Shibarium is meant to be. Nothing truly worked in SHIB's favor. The Burn Portal was probably the nicest item, but it wasn't something that came straight from them in exchange for a percentage of their revenue and what they'd established with a lot of other things. As a result, they did not fully support it. They also did not support any of the underlying businesses. The community-led firms that appear to be burning a lot of calories and doing a lot more, not only for the clout or the ability to grow the business because that's part of it, right? Gaining popularity allows you to burn more, which leads to greater popularity, which leads to more burning. Right, it's that effect that has people debating whether or not to film offering money to homeless individuals. It depends on what you plan to do with the proceeds from that video, right? When you have those movies where people give a homeless person $1,000 or $10,000, if they receive a lot of views, you have the ability to now give additional homeless individuals more money, clothes, shoes, and all that stuff, right? Then it continues to have that trickle effect affecting more and more people. But there are many who are against it because they believe they are taking advantage of recording homeless people or people in distress, while in truth, I believe they are helping a lot of people.